Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. You know, in boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. You already know what I'm going to say. Please like, subscribe, become a member. Give me a follow on all social media platforms and leave that donation for you know what. Hey, look, man, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Claressa is the A side and she out here making money moves. Claressa is out here making money moves. Now, whether you like her or you dislike her, I'm telling you right now, you better brace yourselves because Claressa is going to do what she wants. Now, we all know the fight we want to see, but there's a whole lot to digest here. Matter of fact, let me do this. Okay, get rid of my big head. Let me stretch this over because I think this thumbnail is hilarious. The GOAT's the A side and getting money. And I'm going to tell you this. Right now, the biggest conversation surrounding Claressa Shields, it's not just about money and how much she's making and how much she's splitting with her team and what the numbers are, right? It's not just about that, but it's also not just about who she just beat. It's about who she hasn't announced yet. Okay? So we know that she's making money. We know that she's the A side. But we don't know who her next fight is. Now we know at the end of the year, she's trying to set up something with Lauren Price. But my thing is in boxing, silence can be louder than a press conference. Claressa has made it clear she is preparing to cut weight for her next fight. 160, 168, but it sounds like it's going to be 160. And it's going to be a long-term plan to land at 160 pounds and hang around there for the next fight and the end of the year for this potential mega showdown with Lauren Price. That statement alone has sent shockwaves to women's boxing because it signals movement, ambition, and most importantly, it signals options. Claressa Shields has options. She is letting the world know, I have options. I can do what I want. I can go up in weight. I can come down in weight. Shit, I can do crossover fights. I can do whatever I want to do, not what y'all want me to do. But with options comes pressure. And right now, Claressa Shields is under more pressure than ever before in her boxing career. And that's good and that's bad. Because you see the fans are out here in the bushes watching closely. And they're not just asking for greatness anymore. Nah, that's not it. They're done with that. They are demanding risk. They're like, hold your horses. Stop taking it to the stupid. We want to see you in a risky fight. There was a time when dominance wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? They're just tired of seeing it. That Franchon fight, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. There were people before the fight complaining, but then they saw how everything played out. They're disgusted. You see, when Claressa Shields could walk into a fight, outclass her opponent, and leave no doubt that she was the greatest female boxer on the planet, you see, that doesn't happen anymore. Those days have shifted. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't go in the ring for the majority of people. They're not watching her saying, okay, she's outclassing the opponent because she's the greatest female fighter on the planet. It was like that for a while, but now fans are just getting to the point where they're like, whoa, is she just really getting in fights that she knows she can win? Because that's not what we want to see. Like we've been fooled. We've been bamboozled. We want to see her tested. Like, has she ever been in a fight where she wasn't favored to win? She wasn't going to dominate? The Savannah Marshall fight was that's the only one I've heard people talk about. And Hannah Gabriel's, where they're like, they felt like she got tested. You see, but fans are at a point now where they're like, look, enough is enough. We want to see her pushed into deep waters, back and forth, going into the final round where the fight is up for grabs. Fans want drama. And the truth is, there's no one hovering over Claressa Shields that represents that more than Shadesha Green. Now, Shadesha Green has a fight coming up with Lanai Daniels. She's not really saying a whole lot. But one thing we know about Shadesha Green, she's not just another opponent. She's the fight that fans believe brings real tension, real danger, and real intrigue. This isn't about belts anymore. This is about credibility in the moment. Because boxing fans have made one thing very, very clear. They are no longer interested in watching Claressa step into fights where the outcome feels predetermined. They don't want another showcase. They don't want to see the franchise shit. They don't want to see that. They want a showdown. And in the current landscape of women's boxing, Shadesha Green is the only fighter that checks that box for a large portion of the audience. Shadesha Green is the one. At least that's what we think. Who could get in there and really make it a fight going on the stretch if it lasts that long, to where people are like, whoa, we may see Claressa get knocked down. We may see Claressa, reluctant to let her hands go. Shadesha Green has done nothing but evolve since the Franchon fight. She's more comfortable fighting under the big lights. She's comfortable with the spotlight on her. And whatever she hears fans talk about, as far as, Shadesha doesn't do this, Shadesha doesn't do that, she goes back and she works on it. But I'll say this. Fans want a showdown. They don't want a showcase. They want a showdown. And Shadesha Green, she's the one. She's the one. But things get complicated because Claressa Shields is the A side. And when you think about a fighter being the A side, you know what that means? They do what they want. And in every sense of the word, Claressa is that. You had Canelo, you had Mayweather, you had De La Hoya. You had a lot of fighters that came and went who were the A side. For the women, I mean, you could go all the way back to Layla Ali and Christy Martin in those days, but as far as a really, truly standout A-side fighter from this generation, I mean, I'm being honest with you, this. Claressa is that girl in every sense of the word. And she's earned that. You know what I'm saying? From the Olympic dominance to her undisputed championships across multiple divisions, her being vocal and getting all eyes, like she got all eyes on her like Tupac, you know what I'm saying? Everybody looking at Claressa. So she, in her own way, has positioned herself as the face of women's boxing. Some are going to agree, some are going to disagree, but I'm telling you right now, she's the face of women's boxing. Everybody is talking about her. When they think about women's boxing, they think about Claressa Shields. Everybody, even casuals. It's just amazing how, with her coming online and making noise, how everybody's watching it now. But as a result, when you become the A side, that means you dictate terms. She gonna choose opponents. She controls the timing. And while that level of control is the reward for her greatness, it can also create frustration amongst fans who feel like the fights they want aren't being prioritized. And I can tell you right now, the fight that fans want, Claressa hears us, but she don't care. She has a team. That team is going to make sure they do what's best for them. And they're going to prioritize what's best for them. They hear our frustration. They recognize it. But again, it's not a priority for them. It's a delicate balance between legacy and leverage. And right now, Claressa is walking that tightrope because I can tell you this: she wants to give us She wants to give us those fights. But at the same time, she wants things her way. A lot of people say, yo, she earned that. She, no matter what you think about her, how offended she's made you, even you, hood champion, you seem to kind of just come to grips with she is what she is. But the way you felt about her and the stuff about her harassing Layla and mentioning her dad's name, all that, look, the bottom line is, whether you agree with her or not, she has become the A side and the whole world's talking about her, and as a result, she's probably going to make some good money in her next few fights. And if she decides, look, I take 75, you take 25, or I take 80 and you get 20, fighters got to take it or they miss out on the opportunity, because either way it goes, especially at this point, it's probably going to be the most money they ever made. But this is the thing, there are even whispers circulating in the boxing world about the financial magnitude of a potential Shields versus Green fight. Now, I did have somebody come into the chat, and they were saying that Green hasn't made more than $600,000. And if Green were to fight Shields, they said that Green would probably get $1.5 million. So I'm telling you right now, that would land a career-defining payday for Shadesha. And Claressa could be looking at upwards of $5 million or more. When people are in the chat when I go live, you look for Exhibit, Aisha Taylor, and then there's another one. But those two names, they're not in there trolling. They're in there giving me information that I can come out here and share with everyone. Because remember, like Crawford said, he said, you seem like a person, if you're given certain information, then you come out here and kind of give the facts, or at least try to share with people something that what he felt was accurate. Now, everybody knows y'all can tell me anything. It don't mean I'm gonna talk about it. But when somebody bring me something, trust me, I'm basically gonna interrogate them, and I can make a person uncomfortable because I don't just go off what you tell me. I don't care. But if you give me something tangible, and you can prove it, and I can see that, then I'll talk about it. There's only been one thing that's come my way that I was like, okay, this is worth talking about, and I talked about it last night. But one thing for sure here is when the person comes in the chat and they start saying that Shadesha Green looking at a payday of about $1.5 million, that means Claressa, she's making way more than that. And that kind of money changes everything, people. It turns a fight from a possibility into a business decision. And when that much money is on the table, the stakes go beyond pride. They become about legacy, generational wealth, and positioning in the sport's history. This also tells me the fact that that number was thrown out there, it tells me that there's some conversations that are taking place. And this could be why some people have gotten quiet. You know what I mean? There are some people who just aren't saying anything anymore. When people get quiet, that means something's going on. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the same time, Claressa's looking ahead beyond whether it's Shadesha, Michaela Mayer, but I think it's going to be Shadesha. But anyway, she's looking beyond that. Different challenge, a showdown with Lauren Price at 160. The fight carries a unique storyline that boxing fans love. Olympic greatness colliding in the professional ranks. Now, we all know, if you don't know, that means you're living underneath a rock, because Claressa, she's going to remind you that she's a two-time Olympic gold medalist, having dominated the Olympics in 2012 and 2016, where she showcased elite skill, composure, and a level of mental toughness that separated her from the field. Now, when it comes to Lauren Price, she, on the other hand, captured Olympic gold in 2020, bringing her own blend of speed, footwork, and technical sharpness into the professional arena. So this potential clash, it echoes one of boxing's most fascinating parallels, the meeting of, and some of y'all will remember this, the male boxers, Guillermo Rigondeaux and Vasily Lomachenko. Now, what was so unique about when these two guys got in the ring is both of them were two-time Olympic gold medalists. We're talking about Olympic legends who transitioned into the pros and faced each other in a high-level chess match. Now, that's the kind of energy Shields versus Price could bring. A battle of IQ, pedigree, and precision. But there's one major concern that fans can't ignore, I'm telling you, the size. Lauren Price is naturally smaller, and many believe she may simply be too small to truly threaten Claressa at 160 pounds. But still, the storyline alone makes it compelling. And here's the bigger picture, okay? Shields moving down in weight is actually good for boxing. It opens doors, it creates hope, it sends a message to fighters in lower divisions that the biggest name in women's boxing is willing to meet them, halfway. And that's how super fights are built. That's how legacies expand. Because for years, one of the biggest criticism has been that nobody wanted to fight Claressa at her natural size, which is part of the reason she moved up, even all the way up to heavyweight, to chase new challenges. So for those of y'all who think Claressa is a natural 175-pounder, look, walk-around weight is one thing, but fight weight is different. Claressa probably should be fighting at I would say right now, 160. If you look at her makeup, she got some weight she can lose. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, I'm just being real. She got some weight she can lose, you know what I'm saying? But chasing these new challenges got the narrative shifting again. Because it's not just inside the ring, but it's outside the ring too. Fans are paying attention to Claressa Shields as a personality. They're watching her. You can tell that she has a team working with her to make sure she doesn't go, fly off the handle and make a bunch of unnecessary noise and offend people and just hurt herself any more than she's already done. But I think a lot of that damage is irreversible. But hey, you can tell there's something going on because she's toned some things down. Ain't talking about her cat has low miles and all that bullshit anymore. I mean, what's up with her talking about her cat in water, talking about, having a goddamn little oil spill on somebody's stomach? What the hell is that about? Anyway, that had nothing to do with this conversation. I'm just saying, what? I guess it's better late than never to get somebody to work with you, a PR person or a PR team. But this is the thing. That personality, the brand, the importance of understanding your role and responsibility as a public figure, that's important. But in addition to that, there are ongoing conversations about her embracing her physique at higher weights, talking about the big butt and being thick and all that other shit, right? But her confidence in her appearance and her relationship with Papoose, people have been talking about it for quite some time now, and they're going to keep talking about it, especially if Claressa loses weight, because she's going to mention how maybe that she lost some of that lobster tail or whatever. She's definitely going to be talking about it. But some fans celebrate her confidence while others quietly wonder, and loudly, they wonder what happens if she cuts weight again. And they're like, if she cuts weight, cool, she gets down, we get some of the matches we want to see, but how's that going to affect her physically? Can she even, in a healthy way, cut weight? How's she going to be mentally? Will she feel the same? What's she going to think about her appearance? What about her self-esteem? I mean, what happens? These are real questions being discussed in boxing circles and beyond. There's also curiosity about her future outside the sport. Claressa's expressed interest in fighting until, 38 years old or something like that? She's at 31 now. That gives her a limited but meaningful window to define that final chapter of her career. At the same time, there's public curiosity about her personal life because she puts it out there to the world. Whether she and Papoose will take the next step and have a child. Some talk about next year, 2027. So it just adds another layer to her story. Because balancing legacy, balancing family, and longevity is one of the toughest challenges any athlete can face. Especially when you got the damn the internet that's just sitting back locked and loaded, waiting to see something that you say you're going to do, waiting to see you don't do it, and waiting to sit here, man, and converge on you and just, rip you to shreds. But I'm going to tell you this right here. I want to make this abundantly clear. Longevity is one of the toughest challenges any athlete can face. You know what I'm saying? And there's the elephant in the room. All the drama. Claressa Shields has never been one to stay quiet, especially online. But fans are starting to ask whether the constant back and forth, the controversies, and the distractions are helping or hurting her brand. And that's what they're saying. They say, is this helping her or this hurting her? Because the drama has brought a lot of attention. A lot of attention. Good and bad. But it also can take away from greatness. That's all bad. And many fans want to see Claressa shift focus back to what made her special in the first place. Her discipline, professionalism, and her dominance inside the ring. Some even say, and I'm not trying to be funny, but they say we want the ugly Claressa. The one that had, the little jeans and sneakers and the little piece of ponytail on her head. They want that one. Because that's the one where people had like a deep appreciation for. But once she decided to stop being tomboyish and become a bit more girly and found the weave and the wigs and found the makeup and all this other stuff, and she'll tell you, I've glowed up. Man, please. Fans are like, nah, this isn't what we respected. And some feel that right now, it doesn't matter if she all of a sudden shows a newfound discipline, a newfound professionalism, if she's still out here dominating inside the ring at the lower weight classes, fans don't care. Some just don't care. They're like, nah, too much damage has been done. And I just think at this point in her career, Claressa doesn't just need wins. I think she needs moments. Defining moments, career-defining fights. Because when you've already proven that you're great, the only thing left to prove is how great you're willing to be. And that's why going down in weight is a very good move, because that's something that people have been talking about for quite some time. She was there at a point in time, but she says, hey, look, I couldn't get fights. So she moved up in weight because up there the girls weren't scared to fight her. So right now, the path forward seems clear to the fans. All that stuff we just talked about, they're like, we hear you. But this is the direction she needs to go. Shadesha Green for the drama, then Lauren Price for the legacy. The only question is, Claressa's the A side. What does she want to do next? And I'm gonna tell you this. Let me see. Let me look at something. Claressa Shields. She said something that blew my mind, man. I'm being honest with you. When she came out and she said that she would fight Shadesha Green. But in order to make that fight, that means they would have to put Caroline Dubois on the undercard against what's her name? Alicia Baumgartner. So when she said that, I said, "Damn, we ain't never gonna get that fight." And some people are looking at it and they're saying the same thing. Claressa is just complicating things, and I think Claressa is the A side, and she's doing A side stuff. Now, for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, just listen to this.
I told MVP the only way that they'll get that fight is if they want me to fight against Shadesha, that Caroline and Alicia have to be the co-main. So if they want that fight with me and Shadesha, they'll give us a fight with Caroline and AB too. And for you, Lauren Price and then Caroline don't whoop her ass. Yeah.
Now this is from Fight Hub TV, right? But you heard what she said. And if you didn't, I'm gonna play it one more time for you.
I told MVP the only way that they'll get that fight is if they want me to fight against Shadesha, that Caroline and Alicia have to be the co-main. So if they want that fight with me and Shadesha, they'll give us a fight with Caroline and AB too.
Now, go to Fight Hub TV. They got a lot of video. That's all they do. They got a lot of good content. But you already heard what she's saying. So what's interesting is that she seems to be like promoting Dubois. But I did see something that came out from Nikisa and MVP where they actually they reposted Claressa Shields hoisting Caroline Dubois in the air. And basically they were just saying Claressa's showing her love. And I was surprised to see that they handled it that way. I thought maybe that would be a bit of an issue, but it looks like they were glad to see Claressa showing support to Caroline Dubois. So, maybe we are looking too deep into things when it comes to Claressa, Caroline, her relationship with her. I know some people feel that Claressa has an agenda. Because even me, when you look at it, it's like, shit. We did a live earlier, we talked about some of this, but it's like, damn. I know she's known her since the amateur days and has always supported her, and they have a good relationship that goes beyond boxing. A lot of people don't know about that. But I just thought it was a little bit weird to see someone like Claressa, who's considered like the enemy to the MVP girls, to have this open relationship with Dubois, and for Dubois to be siding with her, knowing that a lot of her stablemates, they don't really fancy Claressa Shields. And I'm like, damn, what's going to happen here? Is that going to ruffle feathers? Is Caroline Dubois going to jump ship after her contract is up and go over with Dimitri Salita and win records? I mean, again, it's a conversation. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But, when you see Claressa forming this, relationship, even though there may have been some kind of rapport there, but I'm just going to say, for most people, it's like they see her forming this relationship with her. And that's why people are wondering, like, what direction is Claressa trying to take all this? But for right now, I think we can just take it for what it is. That's her friend, someone who she supported since the amateur days. And Claressa is almost like, a big sister to her. So, I mean, Caroline doesn't have a brother, Daniel Dubois. She don't have a dad, so she just seemed to kind of be in the breeze. And maybe it feels good to have someone by your side. And it could be what it is. But I'll tell you what, one thing about Caroline Dubois, she ain't no punk. And you watch her, and she kind of look a little bit simple and easygoing, but nah, she got some fire in her ass. I'll tell you that. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, well, there was an interview that Caroline Dubois did, and she definitely spoke her mind, and she said some stuff that before I end this video, I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you, because she didn't hold back. You know what I'm saying?
pay attention. She has to pay attention.
She was talking about yourself going life and death with Terry.
Life and death. Woman, I ain't no fucking drug cheat. I don't take drugs. I don't take performance enhancing drugs. I'm not, never have, never been, never will. She can't say the same.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And listen, look at her fights pre-failing the drug test, post-failing the drug test. Light and day. Yeah. That's all the evidence I need.
Yeah, but that must be the real aim for yourself as a fighter, bro. And I guess
I need
how does
that
that go
fight.
down? Like,
I need that fight. What do you think happens? I think I knock her out. I need that fight. I need that fight.
You asking my opinion?
I need that fight.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
I've got an opinion.
All right, you tell me off.
I'll tell you off.
So that's Caroline Dubois, and you heard what she said. She ain't playing, so anyway, she don't need nobody to stick up for her. Caroline Dubois got her shit together. she's all right. Anyway, the goes to A side. Hopefully we get the Shadesha fight. Sound like they're making money. She gonna fight Lauren Price. Next year, who knows what she's gonna do. But I'm just telling y'all right now, man. Buckle up and get ready for the ride. Because this right here is only becoming more and more interesting. You know what I'm saying? That being said, man, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Yo, I'm in the breeze.